My name is Antonio Albizures, and I'm an undocumented student activist from Providence, Rhode Island.
My name is Vincent Harding, and I am a teacher whose subject matter is what does it mean to be human? And what does it mean to live in a human society and to create a more human society? And I'm based in Denver, Colorado.
Thank you. Earlier, you also talked about race, and how do you see race, in that same context of a changing world, a changing country where people of color are no longer the minority, really? How does that play out in classes? How should that work in education?
You know, minorities is an old term, and if you look at the new census data, the only way they claim us to be minorities is by dividing us, splitting us apart. That from that age, from when I was 5 till I was 12, when I was part of the public school system, I started developing my mind that we are not to be ostracized or to be kept away from society, because in reality we are a majority if we work together in coalition, if we work together to better ourselves, to liberate ourselves. Diversity is important and it's beautiful because we're here to learn from each other. Each other's upbringing, uprising, education, ideologies, culture is so different that we will never ever be able to learn everything at once. So if we take bits and pieces from each other and form a coalition or work together as one in unity, then we will never be a minority in the position of humans. And in reality, what are we? We are human beings. We all are one. We are the same person, whether we're light-skinned, Asian, indigenous, wherever, we are one. So from a student perspective, like I said, diversity is something that we should cherish and we should uphold, especially in our communities, and just stop, building up walls or setting up divisions in between our own community.
There are so many ways in which the great diversity of our lives and of our stories can be used to benefit the educational process. Take, for example, for me as a historian, what I've been working on for decades, really, is to try to figure out what is the American story that can include all of us. Not white history and then Negro History Week or month or even women's history. No. What is the American story that is our story? How do you create a story that includes both the enslaved people and the people who enslaved them? What is the nature of the story that includes both the people who were here on this continent for centuries and those who came to take over the continent? How do you tell the story that is the telling of all of our stories? I think that for me, Errol, that is an example of the way in which, if this country is going to be a new country filled with people coming from all over the world, and if we're going to be suddenly conscious that that's who we are, a country made up of the world, then our story is still being created. It's not out there that we're going to pick off a library shelf or out of a TV guide or anything. It's something that we're going to have to create. You're going to have to create the story that includes your family's background and his family's background and his family's background and the white professor's background. All of those are going to need to be the American story. And for me, that's one of the most exciting things about the possibilities of creating a new future. That in order to create a new future, you've got to create a new past. And then we see, well, how do we do that? And what is the case is that we can only do that together. And how we do that together, none of us knows yet. And so that's why we have to have really free minds, so that we can jump into stuff that nobody's done before. That's it. Can't depend upon anybody else to tell us how to do that. Nobody can stand in front of a classroom and tell us how to do that, because nobody knows how to do that. And everybody who's here has equal opportunity to get into the agenda and get into the story making. And I'm glad that you guys are working on film story making. One of these days, I hope that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of you together will create some of the first chapters of the new American history. That includes us all. All. Really all.